Buddy, welcome to Dice Camera Action.
Yee.
Fanfare. Woo!
Yeah.
Welcome back, Jared.
Hello.
The house is destroyed. Just kidding.
All right.
For the record, I have not watched last week's episode yet.
Well, you weren't there.
That's great.
So, I mean,
That's perfect.
Yeah, so it makes sense if I don't know what happened.
You've done,
because I
you've
wasn't
done
there.
anti-research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's better this way.
no
researchants.
spoils.
Yeah. So, Diath,
Yes.
you left Waterdeep to clear your head. You took a fishing pole with you, and you headed out the river gate. You made your way down out of the city into the farmlands east of Waterdeep, and then you crossed a farm. You went through some woods to get to a river. You've probably been to this river in the course of your life multiple times on various occasions with friends and without. And you find a quiet place on a rock where you can sit, cast a line into the water, and listen to your thoughts and nature and just kind of get away from it all.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, it's really lovely. You are reminded that not every corner of the world is a dangerous place that wants to eat you. You see a gambling fawn, and after spending X number of hours and maybe catching fish and just kind of letting them go and enjoying the relaxation of it all, is there anything that you're trying to get out of your head in particular?
Everything?
Okay.
I mean, there's quite a bit. Diath is thinking a lot about Strix becoming a bee stinger.
Mm-hmm.
And what she more or less did for herself and them in the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
In his head, he keeps replaying their hug afterwards and just like remembering that kind of feeling.
Embrace.
The embrace, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking about all of the responsibilities that he still has to do, like going and finding Lady, was it Rajnar?
Rajnar, yeah.
Rajnar, yeah, finding Lady Rajnar. The whole trash piles and finding those parchments. He's been thinking about that and trying to do research into that. Thinking about the weird Lathander stuff back at the temple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think other words that probably stick with him more and more are the things that he heard from Magnus Burnside.
Yeah. Oh, look at it. It's almost like you see his face in the clouds there for a minute. No. After
An
mulling,
advertisement for his woodshop.
Right, of course, yes. After mulling over these thoughts and being alone for a while, you make your way back before it gets dark. You cross through the farmyard again, and you can actually see, because it's springtime, there's actually a farmer and his family out there, and they're getting ready, they're tilling the land to get ready to plant seeds, and he just tips his straw hat to you and lets you carry on. I'm sure he's seen countless fishermen crisscrossing over his property before with no great concern. You make your way up the dusty road back to the city, and then you see, unusual for the river gate, a bit of a line. People backed up out of the gate waiting to get in. This is not typical of this gate in your experience because it basically just leads down to pasture land and small little village area. It's more likely you find a backed up crowd at the north gate or the south gate, which are connected to the main roads that run through Waterdeep. But when you come here, you are a little bit stymied by the slowness of this. And there are people out just sort of waving their hats and talking and kind of really bored with the whole thing and wish they could just get into the city. And so, you kind of take it upon yourself to move ahead. And then you get to the gate and you realize, oh, they're dismantling a wagon. And some of the guards are sort of holding a guy and questioning him, probably because they think he's some sort of criminal or they've mistaken him for one. And so they're just sort of dismantling his whole wagon and checking his saddlebags and all that. And he's becoming more angry and angry with this whole affair and denying that he's the individual they claim. And you can see a couple guards standing off the side and they're looking at a piece of paper which might have some sort of like image of a figure that they are looking for on it, and looking at him and looking at the paper and looking at him and looking at the paper. All of this, no great concern to you, but you're not really willing to spend the next 45 minutes in line. So using your new reliable talent, you just kind of slip through the gate like a slip of paper caught on a breeze, and nobody even notices as you amble inwards, leaving the line and the guards and the dismantled coach and the aggravated man behind. And in the dwindling hours of the day, you find yourself in the trades ward, where you can take care of some other business and whatnot before heading up into the north ward, where you live.
Yes.
You can even swing a little bit south to a watch post and find out that there is a record of the watch assailing a building in the dock ward in response to the whole garbage incident.
Okay.
They basically stormed the address that you gave them, found that it was sort of a derelict structure haunted by Kenku, and basically murdered as many of them as they could find. And there are some reports that maybe one or two of them might have gotten away, but they basically purged that place of any threat.
Ooh, I hope that's better.
So at this point in time, they've sort of kind of taken care of it.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And they tell you, according to the reports, the Kenku were very aggressive when they were confronted, and so had to be killed.
Yes.
They weren't going to subject themselves to any kind of arrest.
All right. That's good.
When you make your way up to the North Ward and you walk into Trollskull Alley, the fishing pole and maybe a few groceries in your care, you come up, you lay eyes upon the manor for the first time. You see that the cap on top of the turret is gone, and it's just a blackened ruin. Like the whole top of the turret was blown off.
That's Dia's actual reaction.
Yeah. And you get to the front door and you realize it's not locked. So you go in. There's still a lot of charred remains of things in the tap room where the explosion of the Modron happened. But you can see there's a pile of lumber kind of lying on the floor as well, not too far from the blackened bar. And speaking of the bar, lying on the floor not too far away from it, upside down, is a package wrapped in string. The package itself looks like it's a little dented and smashed, but is still intact. It's a bigger than a shoebox sized box, wrapped up in string. There is no sound of anyone here. The place looks completely vacant. Your calls to your friends are met with no response.
Again, usually when Dieth comes home, the first thing he hears is Evelyn shouting from some other room.
Right.
Dieth's home.
Yeah.
Do I hear? There's nothing upstairs.
Yeah, you go upstairs. You dump the fishing pole off somewhere. You don't see any sign of your friends. They seem to be gone at the moment. Waffles is gone. Simon is gone. Everybody's gone.
Can I check the blown off cap?
Yeah, you can see that when you go up there, it's clear that Strix detonated a firewall up here.
Of course.
Not for any reason.
Yeah.
Nope, there was nothing up there that needed
When
to
you
be
go back
burned.
downstairs, you can see, well, Paulton left his chair. There's also the smashed remains of another half-burnt chair lying near that chair.
Oh, and my chair looks especially more like just a little more upright and confident than usual.
There's a little chair trophy sitting next to it, too.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you notice for
Probably
the first time,
remains of our presents too
Yeah.
that we had opened.
on one corner of the bar, you see a knife sticking out. You didn't notice that when you came in.
I have so many questions. Do I recognize the knife at all?
No, you've never seen the knife before, and it's sort of a cheap dagger, really. And but
okay.
you see that there's a piece of paper pinned underneath it to the bar.
Okay.
And on that piece of paper, you see a symbol that looks like a circle with 10 spokes, short spokes radiating out from it. And written above it, scrawled really, are the words, "I have your owlbear."
What? Do I recognize the symbol?
Make a intelligence history check.
Okay. Ah, heck. Does reliable talent only work for skills I'm proficient in? I forget.
Let's find out for the fans. Reliable talent. Where are you? There it is. When you make an ability check, that lets you add your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. So, 8. No idea.
Nope.
Okay. Well, that's concerning, and I can only assume that the others are probably chasing after trying to find whatever the hell that's about. Is there anything about this package that seems suspicious?
The knots that are used to tie it look especially challenging.
Try me.
All right.
Rather than cutting open the
Uh-huh.
ropes, Dieth will just use his nimble fingers to
All right.
undo them.
Yeah, so you just very quickly run your fingers
Yeah.
over the knots and they practically just untie themselves in your hands.
And Dieth pretty much has a hand on Moonsplinter as he's doing this, just in case something's gonna pop out and try to bite him like a snake or something.
Okay. Inside this box, nestled in colored paper, is a blowing horn. Not a huge one, kind of a short, easily transportable one, and it's even got a little chain on it that you can loop around like a belt loop or something like that. You can see that it's really a beautiful carved horn.
All right. Is there anything about this horn that seems familiar or I'm magical, but I need tricks for that.
Mm-hmm. It just seems like a very, very, very finely made wooden horn.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just hold on to that for now.
Okay.
And then she said nothing about the dagger was noteworthy.
Yeah.
Okay. Dieth will then just drop off all of his other stuff that he brought home, like the fishing pole, all the groceries, whatever. Take that piece of paper with a symbol on it, and immediately head back out into the streets of Waterdeep. First thing he's gonna do is contact the rest of his seedy underworld information brokers and try to learn anything he can about this.
All right. Cut to 3 children. A 10-year-old girl with dark hair and a wooden sword. A 9-year-old tiefling boy with a tattered cloak and a small bow and a quiver with some homemade arrows stuffed in it. And a portly lad of 9 years wearing a wizard's cloak with lots of pouches for his spell components, a crooked little wooden wand, and a stuffed owlbear familiar companion tucked under one arm. You guys are the bestest of friends, and you have crawled down to one of your favorite haunts, which is this dungeon complex in the sewers, but not in the stinky part of the sewers, in sort of one of the cleaner, less reeky part of the sewers. And this is a complex that you have played around in since you've been friends, and you've been friends over a year, enjoying each other's company and all that Waterdeep has to offer for people your age. But one of the things you discovered recently was a secret door, sort of in the side of a sewer tunnel, and you were able to, with your combined effort and some of Jenks's mighty magic, convince the door to open and let you through into a small, dark little chamber with an ordinary door at the far end of it. And what looks like an arrow slit in one wall that's so sort of choked with dust and cobwebs that you don't think anybody has peeked through it in years. This is a part of the dungeon that you haven't really explored in great length before.
For the record, did they use actual magic or was like pretend magic and then the door opened?
Jenks thinks he has very, very powerful magic. His friends have never seen it, but
it's one of those situations.
Jenks will tell you in great detail the spells that he's able to cast and the powers that he possesses, and he will vouch for the intensity of his magic.
I know so much magic, and I am really good at it. And my best spell is Anne Skyzer's Scorcher.
Squidly's like, hell yeah, it is, dude.
Thank you. I know what I'm doing. I promise.
And that's like, yes, you know magic.
Like, thank you. I am the best wizard on the entire planet.
That's true. That's totally true.
Thank you.
And as
And
the
he
believe.
pets his owl bear.
As the three of you are confronted with this door ahead of you, you see that it's actually, it looks like at some point it must have been kicked in or broken in because its locking mechanisms just sort of shattered, and there's actually a hole where the door handle would usually be. And it's, as you approach and you peer through that hole in the door, you can see a landing beyond with a short staircase leading down to a large chamber that, much to your surprise, has torches flickering in sconces along the walls. You've never seen torches lit down here before. And you hear voices in the distance, some distance away.
Guys, it's lit down there. We should go. And Squidly just starts going toward it.
All right, yeah, Squidly pushes open the door.
Nat tries to push him back and be like, no, me first.
Oh, you need a minute. Got it. All right, I'll go first.
Wait, I need to make sure that there's no dangerous magical traps.
Okay, do that, and then I'll go down there. And he goes down there.
Nat follows with her sword menacingly.
Yes.
Jenks takes his wand and is just like does a circle, like he points at some things, like maybe like tiptoes a little bit and is like, it's safe.
Yes.
This honestly all sounds exactly like me playing D&D when I was 10 years old.
And Jenks, you also see a little spider on the wall that you think might make a good future spell component.
Ooh, I just crush it with my hand. Okay. And I'm just like, I'll use this for later. Hold on to it, Ferdinand, and he like wipes it on the owlbear.
Or you just sort of lodge it in the owlbear's little beak or something.
Yeah, there you go. I know.
As you make your
come.
way down the stairs, Squidly, then Nat, then Jenks. And Jenks, you always have a bit of problem with stairs because sometimes your cloak is your robe is a little bit long and your feet get caught on it, and so you take yourself very seriously and delicately down the stairs. And but in the lead, Squidly, with your dark vision, you can see that there is a cage set up in the middle of what is basically a 20-foot square room with several doors leading off of it. This cage is about 8 feet on a side, made of wood, with metal rivets and corners and trim, and what looks like a wooden metal door set on one side. There's also a set of double doors that fly open across the room, and you guys have basically just an instant as you're standing on the staircase across the room to try to maybe hide in the shadows. I'd like you all to roll a d20, please.
All of us?
No, not you, Jared.
Okay.
16.
Well, that's an 11.
Okay. And I'll roll for Holly. All right. All right, Holly's back. Holly, there we go. Thank you. Holly,
I got my props.
roll a d20.
I got a 5.
Okay. So Squidly and Nat, you duck into you sort of press yourself up against the walls of the staircase, but then you see Jenks just basically coming down the stairs, and he just sort of freezes on the staircase between you, and he's an obvious visual target.
Jenks, hide.
A what?
Hide.
You hear
He
loud
says
voices
what?
approaching.
Is
He
that
says-
a May?
He says hide, and I just say it louder. Hide!
Okay, I go hide. I wave my wand a bit.
Okay.
Shh.
So he waves his wand, and where do you hide? Do you attempt to press yourself up against the walls like Nat and Squidly are doing, or are you running back into the darkness?
I'll press myself up against the wall.
Okay.
So I don't think that I'll do as good of a job as Nat or Squidly, but
You're-
I'm gonna try.
Squidly's like hiding, but also doing like his own music. Just.
I
All
think
right.
Nat is watching Squidly and waiting for like they have a special all clear
Yeah.
signal
Yeah.
because she wouldn't be able to hear what's going on. She just would have known to hide from
Yes.
the motion.
Yes. And you also can see, Nat, as the double doors open, since you have the best view from where you are, that there are 3 figures that come into the room. The first one to come through is a dwarf with some tattoos on his brown skin. The curious thing about him is one of his arms seems to have been lopped off and replaced with a crossbow. Behind
Nat thinks
him,
that's really cool.
it is pretty cool. Behind him, you see that there is a woman, much taller, stick-like in frame, and she's got big red curly hair that falls down over her shoulders. And based on the way she's dressed, well, I'll let you interpret this as you will. She seems to be wearing what looks like a soiled ball gown, possibly a wedding dress, that has been probably just kind of dragged or spent too long down here in the sewers and has lost its proper color and taken sort of an unsavory shade to it. But she's also dressed in tall, knee-high leather boots with high heels. And she sort of clops into the room behind this dwarf.
Wedding dress with knee-high leather
Yes,
boots, you said.
yes. And you can see the boots through a tear in the side of the dress. And then behind them, you see a man who must be at least 7 feet tall, dressed in kind of like a suit with a tweed vest, an overcoat, and a hat over sort of a weirdly malformed head. And you can see he's a particularly hairy man. His arms are just covered with hair, and he is pulling, or rather pushing, a baby carriage with its canopy up, shielding anything that might be in the carriage from sight. And they stop in front of the cage, and the woman reaches into her bust and pulls out a key to unlock the cage door.
And we haven't seen what's in the cage?
There's nothing in the cage. The cage is empty. But as she opens the door, she holds out her other hand. A yellowish green hand sort of sticks out of the baby carriage, holding a twitching fish. And she grabs the fish and throws the fish into, or slides the fish into the cage, and then slams the door shut. Says, "I'm surprised we made it back in time." And then she looks at the dwarf and she says, "That was too easy. They didn't even lock the doors. There was no knock spells. There was no arcane lock spells. There were no glyphs of warden. I prepared my knock and my dispel magic for nothing. What a joke."
Jared's face.
It's only because Diaz wasn't there, okay?
Just leave. We just left the door open.
And
Nat
he says,
signs-
and the dwarf says,
Curse you and your inevitable betrayal.
sorry, Nat signs.
She signs to Squidly like, what are they saying?
And you know enough of the sign language she taught you, Squidly, to respond in the language.
Oh, I was gonna say like he very crudely tries to respond. He's just like,
They said it's time to play butterfly sight.
You sort of you know Squidly's bad signing well enough to sort of you can make a D20 check to try to correctly interpret.
I got a 2.
Okay. It's a little hard to see in the dark, shadowy staircase what he's doing, and it's possible he might be improvising.
He said something about brunch, and she's really confused what that has to do with any of this.
And at that point, the woman turns to the dwarf and says, "And don't you think for 1 minute I'm letting you off the hook, Noska Urgrey. I know what you're up to. You were consorting with the enemy." And he says, "No, that's not true. That's not true. I was spying on them. That's what I was doing there." And she says, "Look, I'm very perceptive. Nothing slips by my attention, Noska Urgrey, and I'm telling you right now, you are lying to me. You are lying to me." And she says, "But I will tell you what. I will not report you or snitch on you to Tulip or any of the others. But I want something for my silence." He says, "What?" "Your room." "That's right. I want your room." My room? "In the Xanathar's lair. You betcha." "Why?" "Because if you want to be I'm tired of being on the outside looking in. You want to be powerful, you got to be near power. And that's what I aim to do. So you give me your room. You have a key, right?" He says, "Not on me." "Well, okay, then you better go get your key, because I want your room for my silence. Otherwise, I'm going to tell Big Daddy Eyeballs all about you and your treachery." At which point, the three of you see the fish turn into an owlbear.
What?
And it's in the cage. And Jared, you'll be playing Waffles. You find the cage is really, really tight. So your butt is just sort of squeezed up against the back bars of this thing, and your face is kind of pressed up against the door a little bit.
Which would be adorable if it wasn't so sad.
Right.
Baby girl.
And the rest of you see this gray feathered owlbear monster appear in the cage. And when it appears, the dwarf kind of instinctively kind of jumps because he's very close. And he says, "Oh, you better get away from the bar."
Jenks is really excited because Jenks has an owlbear familiar.
That's right.
Stuffed, but he's like,
He's
looks
never seen a real owlbear before, just one in pictures and books and things.
No, and he just like gasps, was like, "Oh, aside from the gods."
During this, Waffles, even like in her tight space, like is like actually trying to bite at the bars of their beak and kind of pawing at it with like their limited movement space. Just
when this happens, you can see the cage door sort of bangs in its frame, but seems to hold secure. And the three of you hiding in the staircase can see that there is a big fat iron lock on the door that's sort of holding it shut. And even though this big beast is kind of rattling around in there, the cage looks pretty darn secure. And she says to the dwarf, "If this doesn't hold, I swear I'm going to hold you responsible somehow." "I didn't even make the cage." "I don't care." She says, I need to take these boots off." And then she looks at the big, tall, hairy guy in the suit and says, "Mudrut, you stay here and watch." And then she looks into the baby carriage and says, "Snack, you stay here too. Be a good boy." And then she stomps out of the room and the dwarf follows after her. So now there's just the tall, hairy creature in the suit and the baby carriage with whatever's inside it.
I sign to Jenks, and at first I say, "Put down your owlbear and talk to me. I can't understand you when you hold the owlbear and try to sign."
Oh, what? He like looks back.
What
He's like, oh.
Is that real owlbear in trouble?
He looks over at the real owlbear, and he's never seen him before, and he's just like, he'll sign back because I think we all know.
Yeah, we all know this.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he'll sign back and says, "I think it's a sign, and we should take it."
A sign from who?
He's just like, the gods.
She's like, oh.
Waffles, you can smell many smells in this place. There's the creatures near you. There's the big guy. There's the creature in the carriage, and then you smell 3 more creatures in the stairway, which is sort of darkened. The light doesn't really shine in there too well, but you can make out with your owlbear eyes 3 small, tasty little morsels.
But there's no sense here that Waffles recognizes.
No.
Yeah. So still just
kind of gnawing.
Agitated.
Yeah. The thing you discover is the bars don't lend themselves well to gnawing because they're so tight together. So you're just kind of scratching your beak across the surface of them.
Yeah. And like a dog who wants to go outside into the backyard and but doesn't realize that no matter how many times he paws, it'll never open the door. Waffles just keeps just right at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At that point, the big hairy creature takes off his hat, and you see 2 big ears come sticking out, triangular pointy ears, and you see that he had sort of a high collar up, but now he's sort of divesting himself of the robe, of the cloak, and just sort of draping it over the baby carriage. And Waffles has seen these kinds of creatures before, or smelled them before, but wouldn't know what they're called. The rest of you can make a d20 roll to see if you've ever seen creatures like this big guy before.
6.
3.
18.
All right, the wizard. You've seen. So when your mom and dad would read you stories, picture books, and things like that, you would see pictures of these creatures. They are called bugbears.
Oh.
And bugbears are big, hairy brutes with sharp teeth and sharp claws, and they're smarter than they look.
I'll sign to I guess spider's an arachnid, whatever. It's like, bugbear. Oh, tiny.
Squiddly just like looks back. He's like, "What?"
Yeah. A yellowish, greenish skinned, kind of bat-nosed, pointy-eared goblin crawls out of the baby carriage and just sort of drops down onto the floor. And he sort of rips a baby bonnet off his head and kind of throws it down on the floor.
That's like, it's not a baby. It's not a baby.
Jay's like, what?
And as it sees the owlbear kind of gnawing on the bars and whatnot, you see this little green goblin just start to gambol around and make fun of the owlbear.
Oh, I hate a bully.
Nat does not like people who make fun of people.
And then it's like to the owlbear.
Nat's like, we're going to cut his tongue off.
Then he takes his
with
pants
our
down.
swords.
He takes his pants down and moons the owlbear.
And his butt.
My eyes.
Cut it off.
And
Squiddly replies to that like, "Now." Okay.
Now,
And
Squiddly, when you look, you can see that bugbear is scary, freakishly tall and big and strong. The goblin's actually smaller than you are, but that bugbear is like 5 of you.
I don't care.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. What do you do?
We're adventurers.
Oh, God.
I like. He like.
Jake's is like, let me cast like shield or something. I don't know.
What does Squiddly do?
Fast.
Squiddly is gonna reach for his bow and arrow.
Yep.
He's gonna take a shot at the bigger one because he's just like, I like a good challenge.
No, aim for the goblin's butt.
Too late.
All right.
I said butt.
Roll a
the butt.
d20, Squiddly.
dealing with literal children.
12.
All right. Bugbear. Right. So your arrow kind of sticks it and impales itself through the felt hat that he's holding in his hand. And then he just sort of holds it up and notices for the first time there's an arrow sticking through his hat.
I'm like, good shot.
Squidly's like, that's a warning shot.
And then you actually shout that out, or you just like,
Yep.
Okay. The bugbear kind of looks over into the dark and focuses its beady eyes in your direction. And then it sort of throws the hat onto the floor and comes
Invisibility!
stomping over to the three of you. So
Bring it on, bitch! I'm not afraid.
Everybody roll initiative.
I literally just said invisibility.
All right, let's roll initiative.
Invisibility.
You can't see me. I'm invisible.
For initiative, just roll d20s. And
Eight.
and Owlbear, you can roll 2, just for the sake of
All
it.
right.
8 for Nat.
18.
18 for Squidly.
I got 15.
15 for Jenks.
15 for Waffles.
All right.
As he's like stomping over, Squidly's just like, we're gonna kick your ass and save that fish!
That's like, yeah, the fish.
Yeah, you saw them change that fish into a big monster. We gotta change it back and bring it back to the ocean.
All right. So Squidly, you basically took your shot on what was technically a surprise round. Your turn comes around again. What do you do as the bugbear lumbers toward you?
Is it like dawning on me how big this thing really is?
Yeah.
He's like approaching, and as he gets closer, I keep looking up. I'm just like, ah, shit. He looks to Nat. He's like, what do I do?
Shoot again?
Okay, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna kick him in the shin. I'm gonna run up and kick him in the shin.
All right. So you run up, and he's actually very, very tall, but you can get to his shin, no problem there. You sort of drop kick him in the shin. Make a d20 roll.
13.
Okay, you bounce off him, and just sort of.
Ow.
After kicking him, you're just like standing now right in front of him, looking straight up at this glowering creature, and like this glob of drool off one of his fangs falls and just splops you in the eye.
Oh no.
Squidly trying to be a badass, just like licks it off his face.
Ew.
Oh.
Fear. Okay, then it is it's the goblin's turn. The goblin, he's not concerned at all about pesky little tiefling urchin person. He sort of reaches for the hat and rips out the arrow and just kind of tries to poke the owlbear with it. Dunk, 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 dunk. But only rolled a 12 to attack, which isn't really enough to get through your beastly hide, Waffles. At least I don't think so. Let me double check. I think you're higher than a 12 AC.
I think so.
Yeah, you are by 1. Okay, so he does not get through your natural hide, but he is trying to antagonize you.
All right.
But now it is your turn, Waffles.
Great. I want to bite his arm as he's trying to poke me through.
Get him.
That will
Like if
be
he's like trying to poke through, like just snap with the beak right at his hand.
okay. You won't be able to get because he's not sticking any part of his limbs into the cage.
Still, that's what she does.
You could try to bite off the arrow.
I think she'll like try to just snap like at him.
Okay.
Like try to get the beak through the cage and
Okay.
through that maybe hit the arrow.
Okay.
Like instinctively, Waffles is trying to go for him. And
Got it.
not-
So just on pure instinct, she's going after him.
yeah,
all right.
but I think like because of the logistics of it, she'll probably just get the arrow on it.
Okay. Just make an attack roll with your beak, which is +7.
Total 11.
Okay. He's able to snatch the arrow back as if anticipating your hostile response, and suffers no ill effects.
All right, and then she'll just further keep smashing against
yeah.
the cage.
Okay. And Jenks.
All right. I of course see. I'm sure Squidly has done this before. Probably
yes.
numerous times.
Yes. Usually with a butcher or with
Right.
some sort of broad crier, but today it's with a bugbear.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look at my owlbear familiar and say, "Stand back, Ferdinand. We're gonna cast a really strong spell." And I'm gonna run down there in front of the bugbear and say, "Oh, my name is Jakes the Magnificent, and I'll take you down, you evil foe."
What are you?
But he's shaking. He's 100% shaking.
Are you casting any spells?
I would, if I have in my mind, I'm casting Fireball, but
Okay.
I don't have Fireball.
All right. So you utter your incantation that you've come up with for fireball.
Yeah.
Where are you detonating it?
Just like on his head, I guess. I don't know how Fireball works. I'm 100% just think
Just
it's like
whatever.
I think it's like a ball, like
Yeah.
an actual like whee.
All right. So you conjure a ball of fire in your
Oh!
hand with your wand, and then you hurl
did
it
it!
right at his face.
Yeah.
And it explodes, and the fire just sort of consumes his head. So he's just like a burning pumpkin head. Squidly and Nat, you see none of this.
I'm crazy.
You just hear the wild gesticulations. You see Jenks thrust his hand mightily at the creature, and then he starts, huzzah!
Yeah.
Magic.
Oh, my friends, we're saved.
Quick, you two. It's a Peter Pan situation. If you believe it too, it becomes real.
But the bugbear, from your point of view, Squidly, just sort of arches a bushy eyebrow up at the spellcasting kid behind you, and then focuses back on you. And it is the bugbear's turn next. He is going to attempt to grapple
Oh boy.
you, Squidly.
Crazy kid's not a threat.
You can just look at your little arrows and go, yeah. He's doing the mental algebra. Okay, so he is going to make a strength check contested by your D20 roll.
Okay. 15.
Okay, you manage to slip out of his grasp. He reaches for you, you leap to the side, he does not grab hold of you.
It's like quick and nimble, bitch.
And that is his action. And Nat.
Nat's like eyes locked on the goblin, and she tries to get his attention and speak slowly so that he will understand. She says, "Your butt is mine." Then she raises her sword and she goes after him.
All right, so you charge past the bugbear. Who is too aggravated by Squidly to pay much mind to you. When you run toward the goblin, he's just standing there with the little arrow in his hand, and you can make an attack roll, which is just a D20 roll for you.
These dice are really not my friend today. 6.
Okay, you just kind of clock him.
Thunk.
He tries to block you with his arm, so you just hit him across the arm, and he just says, "Ow."
I don't hear it.
That's right, you don't hear it, but everybody else does.
Like, Squidly knows that she doesn't hear it, so he tries to yell louder, like, "He said ow!"
And then it is, that's the bottom of the initiative order, so we're back at the top with Squidly. You have leapt to the side, up the staircase a little bit to get out of the grasp of the bugbear. What do you do?
I'm feeling like especially like cunning and like moving her around, so I want to try and like slip to the cage, and I want to try and save the fish. Okay.
You are basically disengaging from the bugbear, so you kind of tumble and run past him. You run over to the cage. You see the big giant owlbear filling up the cage. You see the lock on the door of the cage. What do you do when you get there?
I look at the lock and I'm like, shit. Did I see who has the key?
So you saw the woman take the key out of her Bodice.
Mm-hmm.
She presumably still has the key and is not in the room at present.
Is...
The only things in the room at present are the 2 monsters that you're fighting, the owlbear in the cage, and the baby carriage.
I want to... is Waffles taking up literally just filling up
There
the cage
there
totally,
is
or?
space in there. Like a small person could probably squeeze in there with this beast.
Could I try to squeeze in there?
Yes. Do you want to squeeze in toward the front end or the back end of the monster?
Front end. I have faith that this is a friendly monster who knows that I'm trying to help it.
Waffles
Okay.
is not a monster.
Waffles is a fish.
Okay, make a d20 roll to slip through the narrow bars.
15.
Okay, you squeeze your rail-thin body. You kind of get stuck. Your head gets kind of stuck for a second. Then you realize, oh, horns. You turn and then just sort of slip through and then find yourself stuck in this cage with this creature. And every time it moves, you're sort of bashed up against the bars a little, bashed up against the bars a little.
So it was just like, okay, in here.
Yeah, you're pretty sure it's so tight in here that she couldn't really attack you even if she wanted to because, yeah.
Squidly assesses for a second and looks around. And he's just like, all right, now what?
You're not sure you could get out again, frankly.
He tries to get out. He's just like, uh-oh.
All
Me
right.
too, fish man.
The
It's trying to talk to me. I know it.
the goblin.
What's it saying?
The goblin is going to try to poke the owlbear again and does not succeed. Not even close. And that will bring us to Waffles. Waffles, you are aware of the boy who's in this cage with you now.
I'll protect you, fish.
Okay. Huh. What did you say the cage is made out of?
So it's iron reinforced or wood reinforced with iron.
Okay.
Now make an intelligence check for Waffles, which will be for you a d20 roll -4.
-4? Okay,
Yeah.
come on, girl. I
She's
believe
so
in
smart.
you. -4 equals 3.
Okay.
Aww.
What would Waffles like to do?
Well, if she can't really reach Squidly at all.
She could if she, tried her best.
Yeah, I mean, all she can tell is that he's trying to hug her.
Looks like
And she
it.
knows hugs,
Yeah.
but this goblin's still pissing her off. So she's
Yeah.
still just trying to snap at that, maybe biting at the boards or trying to paw against it as hard as it can.
Okay. Squidly, make an intelligence check. This is just a d20 roll for you.
6.
Okay. You're not sure what the owlbear is trying to do, but every time she does it, you sort of get rammed up against the bars in an uncomfortable way.
Ow.
All right.
Ow.
Waffles, you don't make any progress at getting through the bars. You do hear the lock on the door banging as the cage moves and gets jostled about. Jenks, you can make an intelligence check.
Oh, that was cocked. Hold on. Oh, 16.
Okay. One of the things you notice is that while the cage itself is secure, it is not secured to the floor. That whenever Waffles kind of throws her weight up against it, like the bottom, the floor almost comes
Oh.
up. It's just
All right.
sitting on the floor.
All right. Well, I am going to run over there with my little friend, my wand.
All right. I would like you to make another d20 roll.
Okay.
Actually makes those noises while running.
19.
All right. You're so good at this, you don't trip and fall
Yay.
over your robe as you get to the other
I'm
far
lifting
side
it
of the
up.
cage.
Used to my fabulous wizard wear.
Yeah.
I think my biggest inspiration is Jim Dark Magic.
Oh no.
So I'm a big fan. I have posters all over my room.
The dark magic books are your favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. So I see that Squidly's in there. I'm like, the cage isn't bolted to the ground. I'll cast the knock spell on it, and then you get the owlbear to lift it up.
What?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
knock magic.
I'll also sign it
Good.
to that. Yeah, and so I'll look at Waffles. And be, we're gonna get you out of there, little lady.
And I motioned to Squiddly, like, just let him feel proud of himself. It's okay.
And also hold up my owlbear familiar and say, "This is you, Ferdinand. This is you in like 100 years."
So Waffles, you kind of have some sort of instinctual recognition that what she's holding up to you is like a baby owlbear.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll go, knock.
Well, Strix could transform her staff into an owlbear, couldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine there's some familiarity there with
Yeah.
Waffles, and
Yes.
probably soothes her.
Yes.
Due to her
And
owlbear
it's
brain.
waving, the little creature out there is waving a wand around frantically and making words, and nothing is happening.
Okay.
And then it is the bugbear's turn.
So wait, knock didn't work. Just kidding.
It did not, no. No. Well, it actually, from your point of view, Jenks, you think that it may have caused the lock to open slightly? Like maybe it could just now be turned
An
to
invisible
open?
amount.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you think it is success on some degree. But then the bugbear turns around, realizes his quarry has escaped, sees this young girl accosting the goblin, and comes over behind her to try to grab her. And you have to make a strength, or just roll a d20, Anna, to elude this hulking beast.
2.
Okay. He grabs you and just sort of picks you up in a kind of bear hug, a bugbear hug.
She's kicking her feet.
Yeah. And he
Yeah,
sort
their
of
sword like this.
yeah, your sword is kind of waving around with his hands above it. And then he just cries out, "I got her! I got her!"
She's trying to kick him.
Okay. And it is your turn. So you can try to finagle your way out if you like.
She tries to kick him in the stomach or the knee or wherever her feet are.
Okay.
She tries to just like donkey kick him back.
Right. With the goal of getting free, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
9.
Okay. Wow. You are successful.
That's why I'm the leader.
Oh! And he drops you, and you just land on your feet like a cat in front of him. And he clutches his gut where he took the kick.
Do I don't have movement after that, do I?
Yes, you do, because that was just an action.
I'm going to try to get back toward the rest of my party because they might need my help, the leader.
Okay. You don't have far to go. It's only a few feet to get to Jenks, who's on the back side of the cage. Squiddly, you can see, is in the cage.
And I don't have any other action, though, right?
No, you used your action to escape.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I just take a defensive stance with my sword.
Right. But you can communicate as a free action, so you can do that anytime you want to.
I just say, hey.
All right. And now it is back to Squiddly.
He's just like pressed up, like, I really didn't think this through. Maybe I should start doing that.
He says that every time.
But not today. I'm gonna try to. What can I even do?
Jenks has told you that the lock is really weak now and could come undone at any moment. So get ready for that. And he told you about the cage is sort of getting heaved around. It's not fixed to the floor.
Okay, can I maybe try it? I'm so tiny, I can't knock this cage over.
No, you almost certainly can't.
I guess I'll try to get my way back out.
Okay, make another d20 roll to get your way back out.
18.
All right, you are actually successful, and you plop outside the cage.
Thunk. It's like, just as I planned. Now we're all here. What do we do? What do we do?
Did you learn anything from your reconnaissance in the cage?
What?
Reconnaissance. Spying.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you're doing peace signs.
Recon a
nice.
what? Recon
Okay,
a what?
cool.
She looks at him nonplussed. She's like, I teach you this every day.
Yeah. You've
We
had
talk all the
lessons
time.
an hour a day for the past
Do
year.
this on purpose?
She does this. I'm just like, yeah, it's almost brunch. Can I do anything else?
Nope.
Help?
Cool.
You can help?
You've done quite enough. Snake, the goblin, at this point realizes that you guys are a danger because you kicked the bugbear in the gut, and the bugbear's clearly been hurt. You see, he'll throw the arrow down on the ground, and
I need that.
he pulls out a little club and comes up behind Squidly and just tries to leap up and crack him on the back of the head with it.
You know what? You had it coming.
All right, but he rolled a 8, which is not high enough. So Squidly, you see this goblin fling himself upon you, and you kind of move to the side, and he just sort of lands on the ground, having hit nothing.
I like to imagine like he didn't try to dodge it. Just as he was coming down, Squidly saw something shiny. And he's just like, "Ooh!"
Yeah, goblin goes over. Squidly's fine, but you notice that the goblin has got this billy club out essentially, and just tried to clock you with it. And then it is Waffle's turn.
How close is the goblin in relation to the cage?
Oh, about 3 feet away.
Okay, but it's like attacking these other children that
Yes.
has this little waffle bear pet.
Yes.
Okay, so Waffles, again, sees familiarity from like the spell casting and the little waffle bear pet. Is getting a little more.
And the insanity, don't forget
Yeah.
that part.
And the insanity and the fact that none of them are very successful at anything they're doing. Waffles feels that the has like familiarity and comfortableness with this, so she kind of goes into like a Waffles rage and trying to get through the cage to get at him.
Okay.
So like with her limited movement, it's rather than like just pawing at it, it's almost like a full-on like leap headbutt.
Putting
like,
all of
into
her
the
weight
side.
into
All
one
of her-
side.
Yeah, all of her weight like backing up as much as she can to the cage and leaping forward with like her back legs.
All right, make a strength check for the owlbear, which is going to be your roll plus 5.
Ooh, 18.
Okay, the owlbear goes crazy and throws its weight up against one side of the cage, and the entire cage, just like a die tipping over, basically comes over. Squidly, I need you to make a roll, a d20 roll.
Okay.
Oh, this could be funny.
18.
Okay, you see the cage coming down on top of you and the goblin. You turn sort of sideways, and the bars just go right over you so that you're back in the cage again.
This guy's, like Squidly doesn't even see it. He's still looking at the shiny thing. It just crashes around him. It's like domino
Yeah.
luck. He's just like,
Yes. And then you're stuck
Whoa.
in the cage with the owlbear again, but the entire cage is now on its side.
oh, this is way better.
And the rest of you see the goblin just get crushed under the bars.
Got him!
Go, boo.
And Waffles, you're just sort of on top of the squelched goblin.
She snacks on it a little bit.
The rest of you see her sort of reach down through the bars with her beak and pull out like just a big long whip of sinew and tissue and other goblin matter.
Ferdinand, don't look.
No.
You're vegetarian.
Nat sniffs at it and she's like, good riddance.
Yeah.
So is Waffles just like doing like a handstand or headstand?
Yes, she is now head first down on the floor eating this goblin. The cage door is on its side, up in the air beside her.
Got it.
Its lock sort of hanging now at an odd angle. The bugbear is like, holy crap! Snake! Snake! And it is Jenks's turn.
All right, well, knock didn't work. So I think what I'm going to do is, oh man, Oh yeah, levitate.
Okay.
We have to get the owlbear out of there. Like, she needs to float or push it or something. And I'll be like, levitate.
Okay, you start to cast the spell, and when you realize the cage isn't moving, it's because it's way too heavy. You underestimated the heaviness of the spell. While you can levitate, your friends or like an
Right.
apple or something, this is just too big, and the spell
No.
fizzles out on you.
All right. Well, while I'm doing it though, I'm in front of the owlbear holding my owlbear up.
Okay.
And I'm going, levitate, levitate. And I'm like, look. And so it pretty much looks like I'm coaxing the owlbear to knock the cage over
Okay.
so that
All
it
right.
can get out.
And make a d20 roll for me, Jenks.
Okay. A 15.
You can hear outside the room, past the double doors, which are closed at the moment. You can hear the clomp, clomp, clomping of boots.
Oh no.
It sounds like that woman.
Oh no. Do I see anything that I can put in front of the door? Bob's back.
No, I mean there's the baby carriage, but it doesn't look like it's got a lot of resistance. Like there's not enough weight to it to really hold the door shut.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna run over to the door after holding the owlbear up.
Okay.
And in my mind, I'm casting disguise self.
Okay.
And I'm going to stand by the door and just wait.
Okay. So Jenks just sort of bodily presses himself up against the door, and just sort of makes some sort of arcane gesticulation as he does so. And then it is, let's see, boom, 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 the bugbear's turn. The bugbear, he might still be alive. He starts to sort of drag the cage over, trying to get it off his friend. And as he does, the goblin just sort of smears across the stone.
Squirrely's just cool.
And the bugbear's like, always thought I'd go first. And he just drags this.
Oh, no, now I'm sad.
He just sort of drags this cage maybe like 2 feet because it's so heavy with the owlbear inside it. And that's all that he can muster. And then when he realizes he's just made it even worse and created this smear where the goblin used to be, he's like, oh, no, Snake, no. Now I'm really angry. Oh, I'm so angry.
Nat's like, that's why you don't mock people.
And you hear a voice outside the door say, what the hell's going on in there? I told you to watch the owlbear. What are you? Give me, where's that key?
Squirrely goes, nothing, everything's fine.
And then that's the bugbear's turn. Nat.
Nat will try to. The door of the cage is still accessible, right? It's
Yes, you could just sort of have to climb up a couple bars to get to it.
She's gonna try to unlatch or break the door.
Okay. How is she going? What is she going to do exactly? So you have a door in its frame with a big padlock hanging off its latch.
Does the bugbear have any visible weapons or tools?
That's a good question. You can see that you see no obvious weapons on the bugbear. And given the way he's dressed, you think he was probably, quote unquote, disguised so that he could maybe pass for a very tall man in the city. So he wouldn't have been carrying anything too big and brawny if he was trying to pass himself off as a water Davian.
And I don't have anything like lock picks or anything like that.
You don't. But make a d20 roll. This is sort of an intelligence check for you.
13.
It's possible the goblin did, and maybe he hid them in the carriage.
She's gonna do something super cool, like run, jump on the carriage and ride it into the cage.
Okay.
At least she thinks it looks cool.
All right. Yeah.
And then, search inside there and see if there's anything.
All right. Make a d20 roll to ride the cage. This is sort of an acrobatics thing.
11.
For you. Okay, you are successful. in doing so. And you can see that there is a bonnet or a canopy to the cage that you can kind of roll back. And as you, it looks like there's a baby blanket in there and all kinds of stuff. But underneath the blanket, you can see that, yes, in fact, the goblin has hidden some gear in there. And a lot of it looks like the kind of thing you'd expect like a burglar to have, like if they're going to break into a house.
I hold it up and show the others.
Cool.
Do I still have movement left if I like slid on the...
Yeah, you do.
Cool. So if I can use the rest of my movement to get to the door, I'll try to apply these thieves' tools to the lock.
Okay.
Or break the door
Since you can
somehow.
pick up an item as a sort of a free action on your turn, it doesn't cost you anything to grab the tools. So yes, you can make your way back over to the door and try your darndest. And you don't have, a ton of time in your 6 seconds, so you kind of pull a tool out that you think might be good at jimmying this big lock. Bum, 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 bum. And just make a d20 roll as you finagle with the lock.
17.
Okay. To your surprise, thanks in part to Jenks's magic, you reckon, the lock pops open.
She looks shocked for a second. She's like, and then she's like, I mean...
And you sort of unclasp it and you throw it aside, and then you can just sort of let the door fall open. And Waffles, you hear this big door clank open on the one side.
She makes a grand motion like, after you. After you.
Levitate yourself out.
The bugbear shouts, "They opened the cage!
No, we
There's an
didn't.
open here!" And then
Nothing's open.
it is Squidly's turn. Squidly, you are in the cage with said owlbear.
And the door just open.
Yes, it's on the far side of the owlbear.
All right, I'm gonna just try and climb over.
Okay.
The
Make a
owlbear's like,
d20 roll to climb over the owlbear.
17.
You are successful, and you can bloop, squirt out of the cage door
Cool.
next to Nat.
That's pretty much all I can do, huh?
Yeah, it's probably all your movement will allow. You could try to attack something.
As Squidly was coming out, I'm guessing it's like a really really tiny drop out of the door. Mm-hmm. Just he looks at it, he's just like, oh, hero landing, okay. And he does this really sad little hero landing, and then looks up like he's all cool.
And he sort of flaps his cape a little bit behind him.
Nat
Throws
looks
it up with his
at
hand.
Jenks like...
Jenks is up against the door like,
But did both of them observe the superhero landing? She's
Yeah.
looking at Jenks to
Yeah.
see whether
Probably
they thought it
Jenks
was...
is
Probably.
just holding the door back, like. Ugh.
Squidly's looking for affirmation, just
yeah. And
yes.
yeah, Jenks, you can hear that there's the rail-thin woman putting her, shoulder to the door, trying to get it open.
Do I see the door
Yeah.
trying to be opened?
Yes.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
soon as Nat looks for Jenks and sees that Jenks is holding the door, because she didn't hear any of that
Right, yeah.
happening, so she sees him like
Yeah.
this, and she's like, "Oh no!"
Squidly's like, don't worry, I got this, and he just shoots an arrow at the door.
Make a d20 roll for your attack against the door.
15.
Okay. The arrow just sort of sticks in the door next to Jenks's head.
I imagine
Yeah.
that these arrows usually don't even embed in anything because
No,
they're
they
shot
don't.
so weakly. So
Yes.
that again, she's like, "Nice shot!
It's
They're
like one
on
of
fire!"
it's like one of those whistling
Yeah.
foam.
It's also
Yeah.
it's also very Jenks. It's also very sort of soft, rotted, spongy wood. So
Yeah. Well,
know.
Jenks is now that Waffles is free, Jenks is going to try and make eye contact with Waffles and cast Speak with Animals.
All right.
Because he doesn't know that she's whatever. He doesn't know.
Well,
He's like, I can speak to you. Where is your home, beautiful creature?
hang
And
on,
he's like,
hang on.
"Wait."
Not your turn yet. You
Well,
can
that's
only
what he's
cast the
gonna
spell on your turn. Waffles.
Yes. Is Waffles aware that there's now this open door
Yes.
or unhinged side or whatever?
Yes.
So from her face planted
Yeah.
whatever, she's just gonna shift
She can
her
sort of
weight
yeah.
and
She can
fall
shift
in
her
that
weight
direction.
or push her back hindquarters out first, and then sort of back her way out of the door. Either
yeah,
or.
and basically do that to kind of crawl or
Yes.
adorably fall out
And then
or
when
whatever.
she gets out, she sort of shakes, and
Yeah,
some feathers
and then-
go flying.
Yeah, and then as soon as she's out, it's a full-on Waffle Bear rage at the Bugbear.
All right. Go ahead.
This is like the full ferocity
Yes.
that Waffles has learned from her 50 years of Strix.
Nice. So you 3 kids see this creature just go crazy.
Oh.
So Jenks, you're about to cast your spell, and you're like, yeah. And so Owlbear, you get to make 2 attacks: a beak attack at +7 and a claws attack at +7.
Is it 1 claw or 2?
It's both claws are 1 attack. So
Okay. So we'll say this one is beak, this one is claws. +7 for both.
yeah,
It's a 23 for claws and 20 for beak.
you hit with both.
Yeah.
So your beak will do 1d10 +5.
I never get to roll 1d10. Yay. Beak hits for 7.
And your claws will do 2d8 +5.
Oh, this is exciting. I'm rolling die I never get to. Yay. And the claws do 12.
So 19 total.
Yes.
All right, that bloodies the bugbear. And
Nat like has her sword out and she's trying to look all menacing, and as soon as this happened, it just like dropped slack to her side, and she's like,
This is the first time seeing an actual creature do anything.
you saw this you see this big lumbering behemoth just sort of throw itself at the bugbear, knock him down onto the stairs, and just start tearing clothes and flesh away from his body.
Nat's like one of those kids that like should be horrified by a horror movie, but is like, cool.
Squidly's like watching from the back, doing things like, yeah, do that.
All right, and then it is Jenks's turn.
All right, Jenks does the same thing, except for more scared. Just like, beautiful creature. Blood's flying everywhere. Like, where is your home? Speak to me.
All right, it does not. So Waffles, you hear one of the kids calling out, but you don't know. You're too busy tearing up this bugbear to care.
All Waffles says is,
So Jenks, you take that to mean whatever you want it to mean.
Okay, Jenks is just like, it wants us to ride it.
You
Quick!
said it wants us to what?
Get on the back. Then he'll make a run for it to once Waffles is done with the bugbear to jump or try and jump on his back actually, or her back while she's actually.
So, but you're not doing that now, or are you going to do that now?
Oh, Jenks is gonna like try and get on her back now.
Okay, so as soon as you run away from the door, they open up behind you,
Oh no!
and you can see that woman standing there, and she has a wand out.
Ah! If I look at her, I immediately hold mine out and I say, "Oh, wizard's duel!"
You turn around and you point your crooked wand at her. All right, with Ferdinand tucked under your arm.
Yeah, Ferdinand,
All right.
don't look. You're a pacifist.
And
Pacifist vegetarian out there.
the woman says, "Useless spells today, but I still have my cantrips. Should be enough to take care of you, you little fatso."
I am very proud of myself and I love my body.
She's such a terrible person.
Everyone is beautiful.
okay.
I will kill you.
Can Nat read lips well enough to see that she calls him
Yes,
Fatso?
yes.
She's like,
And then she actually fires a beam of frost from her wand. And Jenks,
Counter spell.
you've never been, you're like, counterspell! You start to wave your wand around.
I do hold my owlbear in front of me as a shield.
Right. Defend me, Ferdinand.
Ferdinand, I know you're weak. Take
All
it.
right. Yes. So the frigid beam of blue-white light streaks toward you. She has to make a ranged spell attack. All right. She hits you, or rather hits Ferdinand. You see ice form over your familiar.
Oh no, Ferdinand!
And as it forms over the familiar and covers your hand, Jenks, your hand gets so cold and numb that you have to kind of drop Ferdinand on the ground.
Ferdinand,
And you see Ferdinand lying dead
No!
on the floor, covered in ice, staring up at you.
Oh
Quick,
no, he's like upside down.
Quick retaliate with meteor storm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It looks like your counter spell protected you, but it couldn't protect
No.
Ferdinand in time.
I didn't want to have to cast this spell, but I'm gonna cast Wish.
Oh God. Okay. So
And I wish her out of existence.
all right.
And he's like doing all kinds of crazy gestures.
Yes.
And, like,
This is a particularly powerful spell for you, so roll a d20.
it's like the most powerful spell in the game. 14.
Okay, as you start to incant this horrible, horrible spell, you can see, the rest of you see, everybody sees this woman go, I'm having a piece of that. And she ducks around the corner. And Jenks, you open your eyes and she is gone.
I've done it. I've done it.
All right.
I'm so sorry, Ferdinand, but I will avenge you.
And then it is the bugbear's turn. The bugbear doesn't have any weapons, so all he is going to do is make an unarmed attack to defend himself against the owlbear.
Bad call, brother.
Yeah, this is going to be 13. So he's actually going to hit with his unarmed attack, and he does a whopping 3 points of damage, which I'll keep track of for you,
Thank you.
as he just pounds with his fist the owlbear in the side of the head, and it only seems to incite the beast further, I'm sure.
Yeah, further Waffles rage.
Yep. And then he also shouts, I'm coming, Snake! I'm coming!
Oh.
And then it is Nat's turn.
Do I think that the woman disappeared because of the spell, or
No,
did I
she
see
just, you saw
walk
her
away?
literally just jump to the side to
Okay,
get
so
cup
she's
to take
still
cover.
hiding.
Yes.
I think that since she saw that lady call Jenks fatso, she's now like eyes on. So she advances with her sword drawn.
As you advance, you actually get up to Jenks, who's standing there looking at his frozen owlbear familiar.
I say, I'm sorry about the bear.
He was so young, I think.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
But, she puts a hand on her heart just to remind them that, we're here together. And she's like,
Yeah.
also that lady sucks. She has bad fashion sense. I'm gonna
And I'll be like,
I'm gonna cut her.
Thank you. Thank you. He'll thank you.
I go stab right now.
All right,
now.
you go out
Wait,
into the
no,
hall.
we have to ride the owlbear.
You
Can't
poke your head out into the hall, Nat, and you can see the woman has sort of thrown herself up against the side of the door, out of the way of whatever horrible magic might come from that little kid. But you can also see, at this point in time, she's saying, Naska!
No.
Naska, get your fat little ass over here! And
She is so mean.
she is mean. And she's calling out to some dark chamber behind her that you can't quite see, Nat, because the torchlight from the chamber you're in does not extend out into the hall that far. So, but you can hear Naska say, I'm coming! I'm coming! In the fucking bathroom, goddamn it, fucking shit. And then she's standing there, well. What do we have here? This little trollop standing for me.
Can I get to her and make an attack?
Yeah, you can.
I want to smack the wand out of her hand with my sword.
Okay, make a
Say,
d20
why
roll.
are you so mean?
All right, you smack it, make an attack roll, a d20?
12.
Okay, you knock the wand out of her hand and it clatters down on the floor. And she says, why am I so mean? My little dear, I put the ice in nice. She says, and if your future husband left you at the altar, you'd be mean too. Something to look forward to.
Husband.
Amazing.
She tries to grab the wand and run away.
Okay, let's see. Picking up an item is a free action for you, so you can grab it and run away.
She goes,
Hey, come back here, you little shit.
Give the wand to Jakes.
All right.
those are all
and-
universal signs.
Yes. And you can see that her wand is this black stick with a little crystal at the top of it. And
I shake it around.
All right. All right. Whatever you imagine it does, but it's just your imagination. And then it is. Oh, the goblin's dead. I should really cross him out. Squidly. You see, Nat has the woman's wand.
Hell yeah.
She's running around with it like, ha 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 ha.
I'm gonna try and ride the owlbear.
All right. Just make a d20 roll to clamber up onto the raging beast.
12.
You are successful.
Yay!
Here I am.
Yep, you're up there. Waffles, you
In the
obviously
middle
know.
of the mauling too,
Yeah.
so you're just like,
Yep.
and so you're probably just like, yeah, I'm controlling Waffles as she's just like,
Yeah, you see the Waffles, from Waffles' point of view over her shoulder, her tearing into this bloodied up bugbear.
He like looks over to see. He's like, yeah. Oh.
All right, and you still have an attack action.
Oh. Oh shoot. Okay.
And as
so
as you sort of look around and gauge your surroundings, you've got the bugbear down below you, and behind you, the woman comes back into view, and she's with that dwarf with the crossbow arm.
So now, mounted atop my new steed, I'm gonna do a from animal back arrow shot at him because I feel so cool.
Down at the bugbear?
No,
Or
at
back?
the back at the lady.
All right. Shot. Go ahead and make another d20 roll.
I like went to reach for an arrow, and I pulled out nothing, but didn't realize it was just
Empty bow.
oh shit.
This is how you lost your one eye, actually. Yeah, this is why you wear an eye. This is why you wear an eye patch. Okay, and then after that spectacular failure, Waffles.
yeah, still mauling.
Okay, +7, both attacks.
I like to imagine she has him like pinched down to the ground
Yep.
now and just like clawing at
Yep.
the ground and him.
Yep, his
It's-
intestines are in there somewhere.
17 and 16 for beacon claws.
Okay, 2 hits.
Yeah.
So D10 +5, 2D8 +5.
All right. So beak is 13
Okay.
and nope, I'm gonna use this one. And the claws are 14.
All right, you bite his face off and you rip him in half.
Yeah, just
Bits of
Whoa.
entrails go splattering all over the staircase, up the walls. She flings something over her back. It flies past you, Squidly. You realize it's like one of the bugbear's ears.
Eh.
And that is that. The bugbear is dead.
to Waffles, is there any kind of anywhere it looks like she can use to escape through, like a tunnel or something?
So at the top of the stairs is a door that looks like its handles have been ripped off at some point, like its handle had been torn off just to create a hole, and it's just kind of hanging open. So there's actually some sort of hallway at the top of this staircase.
Okay. Does it look like Waffles could fit through it though?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And she knows she's got something on his back.
Yeah, she knows it's the little guy.
Yeah. So Waffles will kind of quickly saunter up next to Jenks and just kind of like crouch down and just
It
kind of
speaks.
like lower herself.
Squidly thinks he's like controlling to do that. like the owlbear does it on their own accord. I'm just like, hop on.
Jenks is also going to pick up the corpse of Ferdinand and just say, I'll resurrect you, my friends.
Okay,
I have great magic.
You can see that Ferdinand's already thawing a little bit, so it's.
Yeah. His corpse is fine.
And Waffles gives
I will
like
reanimate him.
Yeah.
Waffles gives a heartwarming coo to Jenks, and they're just
Jenks just just pet her on the nose, be like,
Okay.
it's okay.
It's a really hard, bloody nose, right?
That's okay.
It makes that little coo, and Squidly's like, I think it's threatening you. Better watch out.
And Jake's will motion to Knack and be like, "Come on, we're gonna go."
Nat shows the wand. Look what I got you.
Ah! I'll grabby hands it.
All right. Yeah, you grab it.
Grabby hands
All right,
it.
so that's Waffles, and next up is Jenks. So you can grab the wand. Doink.
All right. Yeah. Yes.
What do you do next, Jenks?
I'm gonna get on top of Waffles.
Make a D20 roll.
I feel like Jenks is not very good. 10.
Okay, you do.
Hey!
Yeah, you climb up.
Waffles probably has to help a bit, just like.
No, you're actually surprisingly agile
good.
for a wizard.
But my robes are so long.
Yeah, you manage it, no problem
All
whatsoever.
Right. Okay, great. I motion to Nat.
All right, Waffles.
Oh, can I
Waffles
see
feels the weight of the added person, but it's no more than she can bear a lot more.
Can I see if the wand does anything when I point it?
What do you try to make it do?
Well, I saw it cast a cold spell, so I'm just
Yeah.
like,
You're gonna try to do that,
coldy missile.
and you're trying to direct it at anything in particular, or just up at the air?
Just where that lady went.
She's standing in the doorway again now. So
yeah,
you
at
can
her,
okay.
yeah.
You point the wand. Make a D20 roll.
It's an 18.
Okay, a beam of
Yes!
blue cold shoots from the tip of the wand and hits her, and you see ice just sort of blast in her face. The rest of you see nothing. He just waves the wand around, makes a
your
zap,
excitement was
makes
so
a
real,
bizort
It was
sound,
real.
and then he cheers.
Nice.
Yeah,
Magic.
And then Jenks says, "You're
Thanks,
frozen. You
Woodley.
can't move for a while now."
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know the rules. You can't move.
I got her good. Yeah. All right, okay, and then it is. Oh, he's dead. He's dead. So it is her turn. You can see. All right. She rolls up her sleeves of her worn wedding dress or gown or whatever she's wearing. She cracks her knuckles. No more cantrips for you, little fuckers. And
Nat
then
reads her lips and goes, language.
And then you can see she's about to bust out a spell, and the dwarf sort of pulls her back and says, "You don't want to mess with that owlbear. We got to get some reinforcements. Then we'll get them." And he reaches in and pulls the doors shut. "What are you doing? How dare you?" And she said, No. This is, well, they're not going anywhere. Let's go get some reinforcements. And they start to have an argument out in the hall.
Perfect.
And then it is, he's only got one hand too, so he probably has to pull one door shut and then the other door shut. And when he pulls the other door shut, the last thing he does is he sort of looks at you, Nat, and mouths something. And he,
Can I
Yes.
read it?
Yes. He says, "Leave while you can. I will delay her as much as possible," basically is what he's trying to communicate.
She gives him an adventurer's understanding nod.
Right.
Which she's totally done before.
Totally.
Totally done before. But now you hear them arguing outside, and
I don't.
oh, you don't. That's right. Everybody else does. Can hear them just on the other side of the doors, getting into a screaming match. And the woman's basically shouting, "You underestimate my magical powers. I am a harpel, and we have magic beyond your comprehension." God, you dwarves are so stupid. And then he says, "I've seen what that owlbear can do. You won't get a spell off before it rips your lips off, and rips your heart out, and probably tears your head off." And
Do we hear all this?
oh yeah, the doors are like rotty
Nat
and
doesn't.
in bad
He's-
shape. Nat doesn't, but you do.
Wow. Squidly hears the describing of the owlbear. He's like looking back at her, like,
And then the dwarf says, and if you think these dwarves are going to, or these doors are going to hold it, probably should think twice about that.
We should go.
Are we still in initiative?
Yes, we are. And it is now down to Nat's turn. I skipped Squidly. Sorry, Squidly. What do you want to do?
Squidly just tells Nat, just like, get on, let's go.
Okay. She runs and she tries to do a cool, like, leapy thing up onto the owlbear, but she's also gonna, like, try to push Squidly back so that she can drive.
Right. Okay. Make a d20 roll.
Wait, what?
13.
All right, you succeed. You hop
She, like,
on,
lands right in
push,
front of
you
him,
push
just
Squidly
scoots
back
back
into
a
the
little bit.
second ranked position.
Yeah.
And then you sort of grab hold of the owlbear and you sort of, Waffles, you can feel this girl tugging on it. She's a natural.
Are you two children fighting for the leader position?
Not so much fighting. She seems to have won.
I'm leader. Nah, I am.
Yeah.
We
so-
all know I'm the leader.
And after that, what do you do, Nat, once you're on and you have the driver's seat?
I try to go back from whence we came.
Okay. Waffles, you feel like you're being directed.
Oh, yeah. So with that, yes, she's know there's all on them.
Yep.
Again, a learned behavior from living with Strix and Simon.
All right. So you galump up the stairs. You go through a door. You come to a wall, a dead end, but that the kids know is the secret door that they found. So they're able to lead you out there into the swamp. Or not the swamp, the sewer.
Oh, good.
And you go splooshing down the sewer with them on your back. Now, Nat, Squidly, and Jenks, you know that you kind of usually come into the sewers at this point through a very narrow passageway that leads into the cellar of a halfling house. But you know the Waffles, or the owlbear is not going to be able to fit down the narrow opening, so you kind of have to continue down the sewers and find another way out. Eventually, you guys come to a grate that Waffles can basically push open with her sheer bulk.
Which she did because she learned from Iron Slash.
Exactly.
No, no.
Yes. This is manageable tech for her, and so
Yeah.
she pushes her way out through the grate.
Some would say she has proficiency.
Exactly. Into an alleyway, a cobbled alleyway, which contains a low, foggy mist. And as you guys sort of run your way through the alleyway, you hear the maniacal clatter of a carriage. And wheeling in front of you, coming around the corner so sharply that it comes off its wheels on one side before righting itself, is a black hansom pulled by a horse, and at the reins of the hansom is that crazy woman.
Oh no.
And you can see that there are in the hansom 4 goblins with bows.
4?
Yep. She's riding on the back with the reins, and these crazy goblins are all stuffed in the hansom with their bows, loading up to fire and take Waffles down.
Okay. Is this is our only direction through them?
Nope. Alley
Okay.
goes 2 ways, and it's crooked as all fuck. So there's not like a straight alley. It's like this crooked up, down, up a few stairs, down a few stairs, around buildings kind of alley.
Gotcha. Okay.
Basically, everything's happening on your turn now, Waffles.
Oh, okay. I guess Waffles will. Now that she's back outside, the first thing she's gonna try to do is like find sense to find her way back home,
Right.
and then
You can make
yeah.
basically a survival check, which for you will be just, I believe, a wisdom check,
Sure.
because I don't think owlbears have the survival skill. Do not. So it's +1 on your roll.
All right, 10.
That is enough to sort of get your bearings on where you are in the city.
All right, yeah, Waffles
So
will then.
you're in the
just kinda
trades ward, which is south of where you live.
Yeah, Waffles will then like kind of just turn around and just will like kind of start sprinting away, just
Okay.
get away from them, and just trying to find the sense and through there while carrying the 3 children on her back.
Okay. You all.
And they're so light, it like doesn't.
Yeah,
slow
they're
her
all
down
very,
at all.
very light. As the owlbear bolts away from this hansom, which comes charging after it, I'd like the 3 kids to make D20 rolls to hang on to the back of this leaping, bounding beast.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Anna rolled a 1.
Oh
Okay.
no!
Oh no.
I got a 9.
Also 9.
Okay.
Children.
Yeah. So
How am I still babysitting?
So at one point, you leap down some stairs, you deke around a turret that sort of sticks out into this alleyway. The stairs sort of go down at regular intervals around this turret before continuing on its way through the alley. The coach, driven by the crazy lady, comes barreling down the stairs after you, slamming into walls. And suddenly, Nat, you feel the weight lighten on your back as Nat goes tumbling off completely, and just
I
sort of.
I was leaning forward, like,
Yeah.
let's go, and then just whoop, right
Yeah.
over the front.
Right,
no.
Yeah, right over, and just sort of goes tumbling into some soft trash.
Squidly will like instantly be like, "Ah, shit," and just jump after her.
Okay. Squidly dives
Oh
off
my god.
into the
Jinx.
trash after her.
She's like, "I'll save you."
Holding on to Waffles and is like, this is my purpose.
Yeah, so you crawl up to the front, Jenks, finally. You're holding on to the scruff of Waffles' neck while your friends are in the trash.
Oh
off.
my gosh, I missed the opportunity to call it a nat 1.
Oh no!
Chat, thank you.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Sad.
Jinx is just gonna try and hold the wand back and just be like, fireball of the ice, whatever, Big B's hand, and just like start yelling.
All right, you start yelling stuff. Things happen in your mind, Jenks. Walls go up, fiery,
Looks really cool in my mind,
Yeah,
though.
it all looks good in your mind. Nothing really happens, though.
Can Waffles turn around and like start making her way back towards the the ones that fell off,
Yep.
to whichever creature looks like has a harder time holding on to her? She'll try to like pick up with her beak,
Okay.
and then like let the other just kind of grab on to her before
Okay.
she'll take off again.
All right. So the owlbear comes over to you, grabs. Which one do you want to grab with the beak?
We'll say Squidly.
Okay, Squidly, you're picked up in this thing's beak.
Oh,
That way you can still shoot your bow while carrying.
You hear
I'm just
the,
like,
you hear the battered black hansom clattering behind you, and you.
Which, by the way, in my head, I'm absolutely picturing just like Cruella de Vil, like doing like the crazy
Yeah.
look chase after this owlbear.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And they can't get line of sight on you though because the alley is so curved and twisty at this point. Nat, do you want to try to throw yourself back onto its back, or grab on?
Yeah.
All right, just make another d20 roll for me.
She tries to just like do a cool. I roll an 8.
That's not so bad. That's fine.
But what she tries to do is do a cool like cowboy, like grab and flip over onto the top. But what she ends up doing is kind of just like awkwardly dragging along next to it.
Kind of
and then,
half
like,
running.
awkwardly scrabbling.
Kind of
up.
half
Yeah.
running, half scrabbling, trying to hold on. All right, you guys trundle past what looks like a parked apple cart with no horse or anything attached to it. And Nat, as you're sort of running alongside trying to keep up on this thing, you do have to kind of move to the side not to collide with this parked cart. But it's not that hard.
Can I grab an apple?
Make a d20 roll.
17.
You totally do.
Nice.
I do like a cool Aladdin looking thing and toss it up to Jinx.
Okay. It sort of
Yay!
bounces off Jake's head into his lap.
He
All right.
tries to catch it, but goes, eh.
Waffles is running through the alleyways and streets, like doing some like pure like water deep drifting, like
All right.
around the sides and stuff.
Water deep drift.
Yeah.
Yep.
it actually makes like skid sounds.
Yeah, she's actually doing like the kind of like slide on her paws before like kind of running in place
Yeah.
a little bit and keeps going.
We have a little like.
Yeah.
Sort of cutting down Longview down an alley, and then this owlbear just sort of slides into the alley,
Yep.
stirring up dust, then comes charging toward us. Yeah. 4 arrows
Oh no.
go flinging by. None of them get close enough to hit you.
Haha.
And then you bolt out into a crowded morning street. And there are coaches and double-decker horse-drawn buses, basically, being pulled, crisscrossing up and down this street that you just sort of bolt into.
Squidly just starts yelling, just like, excuse me, move, please.
Because you're riding an owlbear, pretty much everybody who can get out of the way does get out of the way. But Waffles, you sort of run out into the flow of...
Nat motions to Jinx and Squidly, and she's activating a plan that they have, like one of their signature group moves, and she's like, do the poor children routine. Oh no!
Oh,
Like, and this is something we do where it's like people are chasing us, and it's like, woe is us, poor innocent children being chased by a bad guy.
That.
Yeah. Jace was like, oh no, help! We're just trying to take this owlbear to the sanctuary! And all we've done is try to stop us. In fact, it was in a circus, and there's the circus owners.
While these creatures on your back are just chattering away, Waffles, what are you doing? You can still hear the danger coming up behind you out of the alley.
Yeah, still moving forward. Again, in a general direction back to wherever home is.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, she's just barreling forward. She's trying to avoid like people in cars because she's not like a ruckus, and she's been trained to not cause problems.
Right. This is a fairly main avenue, so there is a lot of room for you to navigate between. It's not like tight quarters or anything. This is a very, very wide boulevard. So you dart past people. People's heads jerk when do double takes when they see you with these three urchins riding on your back, trundling forth, and then you hear screaming, I'm gonna run you all over, you fucking bastards! Get out of my goddamn way! My owlbear's getting away!
I plug my ears. Oh no!
Yes.
I want those puppies.
Right.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then, Waffles, you smell something familiar nearby, and it's Strix.
I would also accept food, but Strix is good.
There's also food.
Okay.
Lots of food all around you. Sense of food all around you. And you deke down a road to a gigantic statue that rises 90 feet up in the air, surrounded by the buildings of the city. This looks like, the city has kind of built itself around this gigantic statue. And you kind of clamber up to one of its feet.
Okay.
And try to catch the air again. You're kind of on a street corner at this point. That hansom that is following you, you can see a bunch of city guards start to come out and try to slow it down / cordon it off.
Yeah.
And the woman, realizing that she has nowhere to go, all of you just see her cast a spell and she disappears, turns invisible.
No. See invisibility.
Did you do that magic?
The goblins in the hansom try to scatter, but you're not sure how successful they're going to be, given where they are out in the morning street.
Waffles continues to make her way towards Strix's scent, while cooing out for her.
Oh no!
The rest of you can hear now this creature you're riding on, this big creature, it's slowed down. You can see that the danger has been stopped by the city watch. And that hansom is not in any danger of catching up to you at this point. But now the owlbear seems to be prowling around and giving off these strange noises. What did the three of you do?
Guys, I think it's dying. What else could that noise mean?
I'll speak with animals. Yeah. Can I try and ascertain what Waffles is doing?
Sure. Make a d20 roll.
That's an 18 again. Wow.
You think she's caught a familiar scent and is tracking it.
All right. Yeah, Jake's
and you sense just the way she's shivering under you now. You sense that there's this incredible anticipation.
Oh, okay.
And as she comes through and the crowd parts ahead, you see 3 figures. A trash witch, a woman with fluttery boots in the air, wearing gleaming armor, her hair perfect, and this dashing, cloaked, dark-haired figure.
The cloak billow.
With his cloak billowing dramatically behind him. And Evelyn, Strix, Paulton, you are now confronted by Waffles, who has 3 children on her back.
And as Waffles approach, she it's like full speed until she's like as close as possible, and then it's like immediate not quite a sudden stop, but like very slow walk up, head down up to Strix, and like Evelyn kind of put her head between just.
Baby girl.
Yeah, so she's like petting her, and she's like, "Oh my God, Waffles, I'm so sorry. You have a growth on your back."
Waffles walks up with these kids, and Paul's like, "God damn it! Haven't we kidnapped enough kids already?"
What?
Waffles, you don't just.
Dieth,
Yeah.
make a perception check.
Sure. It's really good. It's really good. 19 plus 30. It's 30.
After sicking the City Watch guards on the wagon to stop the pursuers of Waffles, you and your society of Confederates basically help the City Watch. Sorry, you rolled a 30?
Yes.
You help apprehend the various goblins, and you, Diath, catch an invisible woman by the scruff of her gown.
Oh.
Wow.
Hey.
And that's
Dang,
where
boy.
we'll stop.
Oh.
Wow.
But do the Waffle Crew meet the kids?
They're meeting them now, and next week, I guess, they'll be around.
Did Dieth hear that kidnapped thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, Diath was there? Paul's just like, "Oh shit! How long you been there?"
Long enough.
We all have.
Oops.
Whoopsies.
Oopsies.
Well,
Yes.
those kids are way more functional than we are normally, so that's nice.
Yeah. Is there anything right off the top of your head you wanted to say to any of the kids, just out of curiosity? Or you want to save it for next week?
Oh, I think Strix is going to see the owlbear plush and be like, "Oh," and then prestidigitate it clean, and,
Okay.
and have Jakes will be like, "You resurrected it for me." And that's their little interaction.
We can do it next week.
All right. Cool. Thanks, everybody, for watching this slightly off-kilter, wacky episode of Dice Camera Action.
Special episode.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying it's the Ego crew.
The Ego crew. Oh, no.
Ego crew.
Ego TM crew. Yeah. And so we'll pick up with the regular crew back together next week for episode 103. But until then, does anybody have any business they want to share?
Do I? I do. Yes, I do.
Turns out,
We
yes.
were like, I don't know.
Starting this week, Dieth Woodrow is joining both Strix and Evelyn over in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hooray!
a free-to-play game available for PC, iPad, and something else. I forgot what it was.
Android.
Android, yes. So Dieth is joining there, I believe, on the either 25th or 26th. I believe the 25th. Yes.
All right.
So you can go to idlechampions.com for more information on that, or pick up the game, search it on Google Play, or even on Steam. You can get it. It's going to be a special event called the Midsummer event, and you have to do that in order to obtain Dieth. So make sure you played that event to get them.
All right. Very cool.
I have an announcement. We will be back on Thursday with Trapped in the Birdcage, which I'm sure Holly will tell you more about. But right after this, I'm going to be on Waffle Talk,
Whoa!
which is the show
Hey.
that talks about the Waffle Crew. And they said they have lots of questions for me.
Oh.
So
okay.
if you have questions, you should come by too.
Interesting, because DF has a lot of questions too.
No.
I believe that's going to be on Power Score RPG right now, and then it's
Okay.
also rebroadcast on D&D at a certain time that I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, Trapped to the Birdcage is back this week. It's going to be fun. Watch the wacky antics of the terrible people. Which one is Anna? And it'll be great. And yeah, that's it. I have a million other games. I will be here and at twitch.tv/CommanderHolly. I'll be everywhere.
Yep.
Come hang out with me, please. So I'm not alone.
And Nate, do you have tour information?
Yeah, no new dates, but the usual. Paid and exposure tour with myself and Zach Callison. We are in August, starting on the 17th. We are playing Nashville, Detroit, Chicago, Burnsville, day off. Wait, day off's just for me. Denver, Seattle. I forgot day off was in the calendar. Seattle, Portland. Yes.
There. Lots of places. All the places. All right. So if that's it for announcements, then we'll bid farewell for this week, and we'll see everybody next week for a fresh new episode of Dice Camera Action. The Waffle Crew shenanigans will continue then with the approach of one of my favorite Waterdavian holidays, a springtime ritual, a little Halloween come early, known as Trolltide.
Cool.
Ooh.
Holidays!
Yes. All right. Cheers, everybody. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.